Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be talking about how to collect your data on Kaggle. If you guys have paid attention to the past tutorials and the data set we've used previously, all of those data have been collected on Kaggle, and we have performed some EDA, some data cleaning, and everything. But Kaggle is one of the fastest and easiest way to collect your data, and I would encourage anybody to start using Kaggle for your data problem. And so this is my Kaggle page, and this is how it looks like. Welcome, Angela. But if you want to just understand how I got here in the start, I just went at Google and I type kaggle.com, and you are getting right here the page. So make sure you sign in, and every time you sign in, you will see this welcome message followed by your name, and this is your activities, what you've done, and everything. So one of the easiest way to get your data set is, let's say you're working in healthcare and you want to just take a data set to analyze maybe healthcare in California in the state, or healthcare in a country, or maybe just generalize how maybe people sleep, maybe sleep disorder. Maybe let's go ahead and use sleep disorder, and you want to understand what is the major cause of sleep disorder, and you need a data set to understand that. I mean, we don't really have to care about the location of the data set, from which geographic location it has been taken. But if you really have to do like very specific, you need to add more keyword. But let's just go ahead and say sleep disorder. One way you can do is to go right here on the data set, and you can start filtering based on what you want to do. Maybe if it's based on education, computer science, or data set classification, computer vision. But sometimes these filters are not the best way to get the data set. So what I would like to do, and what I would also encourage you to do, is just to come here on the search bar and write something like sleep disorder data set. Oops, sorry, and maybe data, and there we go. And then you have a list of data that pop up on the screen, and you go ahead right here and type data set, because sometimes they give you a notebook of people who have worked on something similar to sleep disorder, maybe healthcare related, but data set here, and you have like sleep, health, and lifestyle data set, and you have the depression data set, sleep, health, and lifestyle. And usually you also have to look at relevance of the data set, that this is going to show you how relevant was that data set to other users, how many users have downloaded right here, and how people have judged relevant this data set. And let's go ahead and click on this first one, which is sleep, health, and lifestyle data set. And you have something that looks like this. The good thing about this data set is you actually have the description of the data set. You're not always going to have the description, but when you have the description, it's a plus that you can use. And you have everything you need. We wanted to understand sleep disorder, and you have some pretty good feature right here. You have the person ID, you have the age, you have the occupation, the sleep duration, the quality of sleep, the physical activity, the stress level, the BMI category, blood pressure, the heart rate, daily steps, and sleep disorder. And this is what we wanted to analyze. And so we have our data, we have sleep disorder, and we have probably some of the features that will explain the variability of sleep disorder, maybe what is causing, or what are the impact of insomnia and sleep quality overall, sleep apnea or none. So having those features, and you already know this is what you have. You have the feature variable, the target variable you need. You have all of the explanatory variable that you have. And if you want to just look at how the data uh, is maybe on a tabular data set. Sometimes they do, sometimes they show you how the data look like. Oh, there we go, right here. And also another good thing is they kind of just plot the distribution of every feature variable, which is perfect again. Kaggle is pretty awesome. Yeah, and then you have your data set. You have the features you need. You have data set, and the last thing you go ahead and you just click right here and download your data set. Once you download your data set, you get something that looks like sleep, health, and lifestyle data set, a CSV, into your download files, and you now just copy and paste that files into your Jupyter notebook or maybe into your folder where you're working with your Python, and the rest is just loading the data set into Python and start working around with the data set. Pretty easy and very satisfactory result. And this is one easy, very simple way to get a data set. There could be more ways, but as a starting point, use this method. Yeah, that's just it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you will practice that, and we'll see you next time. Bye.